everybody, I'm Stephanie Regan, business strategist and performance coach here at Real Estate Dynamics. Today I am joined by the absolutely fantastic Rebecca from Ray White in Toronto, and Rebecca has just completed our Standout BDM Performance Program. So Rebecca, thank you so much for joining me.
No, thanks for having me.
Look, I really want to kick things off. Let everybody know, how many properties did you sign up during our 8-week Standout BDM Performance Program?
I think from memory it was about 38. From memory,
yeah,
so
killed it.
Yeah.
38 conversions in the 8 weeks. So let everybody know, let's talk about where they came from. So where did the majority of your new managements come from? What sources?
Well, there was two main sources. Like, I've always had my database that has worked quite well, but I found after doing the course, I could have been doing that 10 times better as well, especially the questions that I should be asking to those clients on my database. But the biggest one was going back from scratch with our inquiry log, which is the buyer's details from back 2012 up until now. So I've just gone back from that date onwards. I'm still going through it now because it's over 4,000 contacts. But that was huge. It was an eye-opener, because even if they had already bought an investment property, they were onto their second or their third. So that's where a lot of it came over from that, which was really good. Yeah.
Okay, and so the inquiry log, you've got about 4,000 potential leads that are coming through there. Let's talk about prospecting. I know that prospecting is something that nobody really enjoys doing, but it is such a critical element to the role of a BDM. So tell me, how much time do you spend prospecting, and is your main prospecting source at the moment just that lead, that lead generation, so that inquiry log?
So I like to mix up my prospecting a fair bit, because otherwise I'll just get bored or get a little bit over it, especially if you are just doing phone calls. So I found, well, again, doing the course, I didn't realise how important at least booking out 3 hours a day if you can for prospecting, especially with the calls. I was lucky to do 10, 15 calls a day, if that. I might have some other days that were more, but again, just blocking at that time and sticking to it and being disciplined with that. But again, yeah, I make sure that every day I'm spending at least 3 hours with the phone calls, and then trying to do an hour of letterbox dropping, just so that I am getting out and about and trialing something else as well. But I did find that a lot of my sources are still coming from the calls itself.
Yeah, and look, I think for any BDM coming into the program, I have commonly found as one of the facilitators coming into it, they know how important prospecting is, but they're not necessarily sitting down and allocating that uninterrupted time to be able to do that. Would you say that's where you were at before the program?
Oh, absolutely, because I've been doing this for so long, but working in our department for so long, the distractions and that I was getting were huge. And then I was still doing some property management work, which again, we learned, I needed to separate that so the girls could build better relationships. So a lot of changes happened in the first few weeks, like all good changes. But again, that importance of that time, just blocking that out and letting everyone know that, not just putting it in your calendar, but blocking it in the calendar, and then letting the receptionist know, to all my team members know, like I've got a sign on my door. So when they know when that door is closed in my office, okay, Beck's prospecting, we can't even ask her a question. We've got to wait till she's finished. So, yeah.
Yeah. And some of the lead sales agents in Australia still do that. So they're writing over $5 million in commissions. They're still using that technique. So it definitely works. It's just being able to apply it. Let me touch on your sales team. How integrated is your sales team with your property management team and with yourself as the BDM?
So I sit in with the sales team twice a week in meetings. We do training together, and then we have a normal catch-up meeting, which we just had one now before yourself and I have caught up. But yeah, it is very important to have that relationship with the sales team, because they will refer clients onto me. And what I'm trying to do is get in the door way beforehand, because we all know doing phone calls, you don't have that relationship just yet. You've got to work on that quite quickly, or you've got to break that wall down quite quickly as well. So I found when the sales agents refer me a buyer that they've just met who is looking for an investment property, the ice has sort of been broken there already, like that wall's further down, so you've got a better chance to build that relationship quicker, and they're going to trust you quicker, and they're loving that. But the buyers that are looking for investment properties are loving that extra service, are loving that extra contact and attention. So I've had a few already that have said, well, I don't want to buy anywhere else, or even if I do, I will still come back to you. So that's just great. Like,
yeah. Long-term relationships. It's all about building those long-term relationships. Now, let's talk about building those relationships. When you're going through your listing presentation, what are some of the objections that you're receiving, and how are you overcoming those?
Well, obviously fees are always going to be a objection. So I guess I try to identify what's really important to them. Is it really fees, or, you know, are they struggling with money, or like I'm just trying, instead of just being stood back and going, oh no, not another fee question again. I find when I take the time to ask the questions and find out what's really underlining that, I can overcome that quite quickly, especially if they're wanting the property leased very quickly and they don't have the time, the money to do that. So I try and work in with them as well, what I can do to help them achieve that. But I found just going through our listing presentation and showing what they are going to get value for money and what they're paying for, especially the results. Like, everyone only cares about results, which is completely fair enough. So if you can actually prove and show that, that is going to be the biggest selling point more than anything. Like, if you can show how you can get their property leased 10 times quicker, or show how they can increase in their rent, then fees, the objection of fees starts to diminish. And you can not only see that, but I know it sounds crazy, but you'll start to feel that as well when you read in their body language and things like that. So as much as I'm trying to get better with my dialogue, I'm trying to get better at underlining what's important to them, but more importantly, how can I help them? The minute you're helping them and you're going over and beyond, like I've got a classic landlord at the moment who's renovating a house, so I'm dropping in there at least once every week. How can I help? Where you're up to? And like, I'll drop him a coffee and things like that, just building that relationship. So I have now already signed him up, and he's already starting to refer his brothers to me and things like that. But the fact that I was helping him, and he was going to do it privately. He wasn't even going to go through an agency. So like, we went from fees being a problem, no, I'm not paying it, but now he is, and he's paying full fees. So yeah, that's just how, you know, I find has worked quite well for me.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you've just said, you know, how can I help you and how can I be of service to you? Because that's exactly what it is about. It's about what can we do to add value to their lives and add value to what they're currently already receiving. How can we help you, and how can we be of service to you? As soon as you say those words, you'll start to build a better relationship with them, as opposed to trying to do a sales pitch.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tell me about time management. So how strict are you on your time management, and do you have a plan or anything that you follow?
So very much trying to follow my ideal day to ideal week, but again, mixing it up just so that I'm not going stir crazy, doing the same thing over and over again. So when I'm doing my calls for 3 hours, and I'll randomly book that time out, depending what appointments I have, if it is a listing presentation or an appraisal or anything like that. But I do try to focus on the 3 hours a day with the calls that I do. And I'll actually stand with my headset doing the calls because I can't sit still for too long. But I found by standing, I say in my head, okay, until I get a lead or an appointment booked for my calls, I can sit down for 5 or 10 minutes. And then I find that just, I'm more focused to standing as well. So I find by doing that as well, it keeps me motivated, keeps my attention spans 10 times better. But yeah, again, the calls are 3 hours a day, letterbox dropping or appointments, depending where that's up to. So yeah.
All right. Now, one of the last questions I want to ask you is, how's the leadership in your office?
Yeah, it's totally, like, my boss has always had my back, hence why I did the course in the first place. We've talked about for years with growth and how we can go about that, and yeah, like he's my biggest fan and biggest supporter, which means a lot to me. The problems we obviously did have was getting that across to our rental department and our team. It was really difficult because obviously when I did bring a new listing in, they looked at that as more work. So that was very difficult. However, what I learned from the course was how I can make it better for them, not being extra work, and how we can get rid of those teething issues that we have with that relationship with the client. Because I've been working with so many clients for so long, they're already attached to me. They didn't like that separation from me bringing in the business and then passing on that client to the property manager. So I found by introducing them face to face or getting that PM involved much sooner, especially helping that client do any cleaning works or handyman touch-ups and things like that much sooner, has helped.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, just really educating the team on the importance of growth. Like, we can't go forward if we don't have growth. We need growth to replace the losses as well. So I think the first few weeks that was hard to get across, but as we got further into the course, like just recently, they've all had a light bulb moment and go, oh, okay, we get what Beck's saying now. So our relationship is 10 times better. The support and backing my back is 10 times better. Like, I can walk in the office now and go, guess what, I've got to sign up on her listing and who wants this one, and they're fighting over it. So it's
That's so good to hear.
So it's like, it feels like it's been like 10 years in the making because I've been here so long, but we finally got there. Like, it's I can talk about that all day, because that was like the biggest thing for me. I never realized that growth was everyone's responsibility. Like, we can't grow the rent roll if no one else is on board with that. So I've had a lot of light bulb moments, regardless how long I've been doing this for, that like throughout this course, what I've learned is just gone, oh my God, like I get it too now. So
those aha moments.
Oh, so many. So it's good. Like I've always had a good relationship with the girls, but it feels like it is 10 times better. So we're waiting for our leasing consultant to get back from holidays, which is a week and a half away, and we're going to do a planning day meeting about growth. Like, I never thought we would be even talking about that as a team. So so I'm ecstatic where we're at, because we've just done in a month today at 13 new managements. We've already leased 6 next month with another 10 new managements on the rental list. So like, even next month is going to be huge, and the month after that. So the girls know now that we've got growth happening, and it's just, it's happening probably a little bit quicker to all of us, because we realise now we need that third property manager, which is good. So we're just not looking back now, which is really good. We're going forward.
That's so good. Yeah, so good to hear, because I remember week 1 of the program where you were saying you had issues with, I want to grow, but I don't want to do it to the girls. Like, and
I shouldn't feel like that. Like, it's like a lot has changed in just 9 weeks alone. And it has been a roller coaster ride, even for me and for the girls. Like, there was a few moments there, because where my office is, I've got to walk through past their big office, and you could feel it. Like, you could feel the tension and the, oh no, Beck's got a few folders in her arms, and it's just.
And now it's a good thing. Now it's a really good thing. And so it's really great to hear that the program's not only developed you as a BDM beyond what you thought you were capable of, but it's also changed the dynamic of the office as well. So a program designed just to, help one person has really improved the culture of the office as well.
Yeah, which no one thought would happen, and it has. And like, we're all on, like, I know the girls are a little bit stressed with our leasing consultant away at the moment, but we are happier. We're all on cloud 9 in a sense. So it's good.
Fantastic. That's so good to hear. Look, I do have one question that I didn't prepare you for. But look, what advice would you give somebody who is just starting out in the industry?
Oh gosh. Just be as open-minded and motivated as much as you can. Like, there's always going to be so many no's, but just stick to an ideal day, an ideal week as much as you can. You can go 5 days straight prospecting and something may not happen, but then that next phone call, it could be it. And I just had one like a classic example this week, I didn't have many appointments scheduled at the start of this week, so it was a bit of a downer, but I just knew I had to prospect more. So I just did as many calls as I could, let a box drop, then come back, do some more calls. So I mixed that up a bit. But I was thinking, oh gosh, I'm not really getting much leads here or many appointments to book in. But then I had a break, went for a walk, and then came back, and then sure enough, the next 2 calls, there's some leads, there's some calls. But yeah, like just never stop doing it, because you just never know. And yeah, there's always going to be something there that you just don't realise that's around the corner. Yeah,
absolutely. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and just give everybody the feedback that you've of the journey that you've gone through over the course of the last 8 weeks. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks again for having me.
Now, everybody, if you want to jump on board to our next intake of our Standout BDM Performance Program, please click the link below or give one of the family at Red a call today, and we would be more than happy to reserve a seat for you.